top of the league. You're having a laugh. Kieffer with the match ball after hitting Coventry with a hat-trick. Welcome back to Where Red Dragons Talk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Steve and Ed talking all things Wrexham, including this week's A to Z and Tweet of the Week. Ed, what a win!
Unbelievable. Yeah, I never saw it coming. 7 points from 3 games as well. So it's we got our first win against Oxford at home. Fantastic point away to Middlesbrough. And then the performance against Coventry was unbelievable. We deserved to win. A lot of Coventry fans have acknowledged that as well, that we were by far the better team. Thoroughly deserved win. Fantastic performance. Kieffer Moore hat-trick. 3 assists from Josh Windass. I don't know. What more can we ask for?
Oh, 100%. And not only was it a hat-trick, it was a perfect hat-trick. Right foot, left foot, header. Steve, knowing that you are a massive Kieffer Moore fan, I'll bet you are over the moon with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, again, hats off to Windass, because those were just bang on feeds on over to Moore to put it in, right? So, I was buzzing. And, even early on in the match, we were looking good. So I'll briefly touch on it from the cup match. I think everybody was looking like, oh my goodness, we're not going to go into this game well. And I just went, oh, the boys are going to be pissed because that it wasn't a good performance, but it wasn't our starters. But I had a feeling they were going to come in hungry for this match.
Yeah, 100%. It really did show from the start. I mean, right at the start of the game, I think it was a few minutes in, O'Brien had a great chance, didn't he, to take it to 1-0 strike quite early on. But I want to talk about O'Brien a little bit because, my God, does he work hard?
Yeah, his work rate is unbelievable. And I do think just with his finishing, it's been a few times this season where he's been clean through one-on-one. He doesn't seem that confident just in finishing. All the other aspects of his game seem to be absolutely perfect. But maybe this is a reason why he's in the Championship and not the Premier League, because if he nailed down that finishing, he'd be such a good player. And you could see with the chance against Coventry, he just didn't seem confident. He seemed to want a little bit more time. He wasn't confident to take the touch, hit it. Like I think he would have done maybe earlier in the season. He would have took it on better, or certainly someone like Moore or Windass. They definitely would have took that chance, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, players talk about going cold, don't they, in front of goal and just having that sort of calm composure. And as soon as he put it onto his left foot, I thought he was going to hit it, but obviously he took a couple of extra touches and the chance went. So yeah, it's a confidence thing, and it's also sometimes players just don't have that way of just relaxing, and like obviously the big Kieffer clearly does. The game, I think, could have, the first half especially, could have gone either way. I think though, Steve, Coventry's goal was against the run of play.
Yeah. I want to go back and just touch on the last thing you guys were talking about, right? Because what was it, the Middlesbrough's match or the Borough match when Kieffer headed the ball and off the crossbar, right? And that doesn't phase him, right? And that just shows the level of player. And going back to what I was saying about O'Brien about confidence, right? He just needs to get one in, and then that usually calms that back down, right? But again, he's had wide open chances, times when he should chip the goalkeeper, and he's trying to fire it hard past them, right? So it's I agree with Ed, like that's the difference. But if he can figure that out, watch out, because with all these different weapons right now, and going to this, Kakachi on that other side is just really helping us out. We needed that, really, really needed that. But yeah, I was expecting Coventry just to swarm us. That's what I was expecting, and we held our own. And the defensive lineup right now, with the mids are looking really solid. Like again, if there was nothing for me to pick apart in that Coventry game, where I was upset with anything. Their goals were quality, especially the late one. You never want to concede one of those, but what are you going to do? That was a class goal.
Yeah, it was, and let's go to that, because it then took character, didn't it, to hold on. We've actually spoke about it in the last podcast, where a bit of a soft underbelly sometimes, where Wrexham, they take a lead and then they fall behind, etc. And there was a little squeaky moment where it could have happened, but no, Wrexham showed character, and maybe they're learning from the lessons.
Absolutely, yeah, because we did speak last week about we were second for the most amount of times that we'd had the lead and we'd thrown it away in the league. I'm not sure where we are now. But as soon as it got to 3-2, I was really, really nervous, thinking, here we go, we're going to really Wrexham this. It's going to be a draw. But they didn't look like scoring. After the 3-2, they didn't. We managed the game out so professionally. It was so good. I don't think there were any moments. I know they got a free kick where you thought maybe a bit of danger towards the end, but it was managed so well. It was really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Steve? Do you think it really shows character to hold on against especially a team of that quality?
Well, yeah, and going back to what you guys were saying, yeah, there seemed to be that panic where we would sit back, right? Like that late game pressure, we would all just drop right back and we would just let them walk on in. So I think that's finally been addressed for no, push back and then, start getting on the offensive, but don't take stupid chances, right? Like, drive a ball, get the ball down the corner, waste time, right? Like do the smart plays. And I think that's what we were lacking was part of that earlier in the season, right? We'd give a bad giveaway. And like I said, sit back and we were just welcoming the pressure to come on. So we gave it right back to them. So like I said, that was probably, I think, one of the best defensive performances we've had.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that, like I said, showing character takes. It's a new team, isn't it? Let's be real. So it's going to take time to build that sort of cohesion and togetherness, and find the leaders within the group as well to have that sort of character. And one of the leaders, Ed, in the way he plays, is definitely Kieffer Moore. Do you think he is important to really push Wrexham on this season?
He's absolutely crucial, and my worry has been and still is that what happens if he does get a nasty injury. He was injured earlier in the season. His start's been incredible. He suits completely the style of football that Parkinson likes to play, and his goals, because I know people will say that he's a goal scorer, but he's never really been someone who's going to bang you 20 goals or whatever. But it looks like he is. It looks like he will for us this season. To me, I think he's going to, it might be one of his most prolific seasons ever, provided he could stay fit. He's absolutely crucial because if he goes out, I really don't know then who the front two would be, who would partner. Windass at the moment seems to be the favourite, but who would partner Windass if Moore was injured?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And you're right, actually, about Kieffer Moore. He's obviously scored goals at this level. I'm not saying he hasn't, but he's never been prolific in terms of your 20, 25 goals. He's always been more of a focal point, hasn't he? And people play off him. But yeah, he's definitely got a touch for the goals this season. And I think what's helped that, Steve, is Windass. I think the partnership they've got together is really promising for the future.
It kind of reminds you of Malls and Palmer, right? Like they could feed off of each other, and it seems like we found that dynamic again. And this is not a knock on Broadhead. Like he comes in, and it's just interesting for him in this scenario, right? Because he's such a talented player, but right now that more Windass combination, you've got to keep running with it. Again, they're so fun to watch when Windass is on his game. Like he was just on it. Like that one through ball that he passed was just class. Like I watched that thing like 18 times over, and every time it was just like, oh, what a ball! Like what perfect pace, perfect spot. Like just a beautiful ball, right? So, I think January transfer, we've got to find somebody that can come in and fill that role, sort of like Moore has. We've got to find another, because Parky likes the big man in that position.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to try to find that. And that's where the only thing I'd say to the boys is maybe we shouldn't have given up on Fletcher, because he's that type of guy that could sneak in and do those type of things, right? He can post up, he can hold it on up, and he can go in. Guy was so class at headers, right? So imagine having that double threat if you really needed a header goal, right? Throw in Fletcher and Moore, but I don't think Fletcher's coming back anymore now that he's retired. But he needs something like that.
Be that ship sailed. But you mentioned him before, and one of my favourite players, Broadhead. I think he will get you goals. So he's a different type of player, of course, but he definitely will get you goals. But yeah, you're right. I think looking in January, maybe looking for another big man up top might be the answer. Right, let's briefly touch on it and then quickly go off of it. The cup game, Ed, it was a little bit Yeah, wasn't the best, was it?
Well, no, and it's really been a roller coaster week because fantastic at Middlesbrough, but then the Cardiff performance, a lot of changes. The thing that was really, really disappointing, and I think it upset quite a lot of Wrexham fans, was this is, again, we haven't played Cardiff for 20 years or so. And I know definitely people in England will laugh at us when we say it's a Welsh derby and it's 3 or 4 hours away. So everything's a derby in Wales. But it does mean a lot because in the past, we have been very, very close to where Cardiff are in the league, where Swansea are in the league. So we have had that rivalry. And you think this is the first time we're actually a league above them for the first time, I don't know when, decades. It's a great chance to beat them. And the performance was dreadful. It was absolute, but it was passionless. And that's, I think, you heard at the racecourse at halftime, at full time, there were boos around the stadium. This is something you've not been hearing at Wrexham for years and years. And I know it's controversial. Not everybody agrees with booing the players. And disappointing. Broadhead was particularly poor, I felt, against Cardiff.
Leave my Broadie alone.
Sorry, because he's been brilliant. Recently, he's been brilliant. He gets his start and just one of those days, I suppose. But like he wasn't alone. There were a few of them taken off at halftime. But yeah, it was just passionless is what we felt for it meant a lot to the Wrexham fans, this game. And Cardiff, they should have won 4-5-1. They deserve to win by far more than 2-1. Sorry, I know we were only going to touch on it. I turned it very negative.
That's fine. We'll quickly now jump away from it, and we'll look at the upcoming games. Obviously, got a busy week, double game week. So Steve, we'll take a prediction from yourself for the Portsmouth away. It's a tough place to go for Fratton Park. What are we expecting from the game?
Riding this high and how they're playing here now, going in enemy territory, I'm calling it a 2-1 win for Wrexham. That was, like I said, that was a heck of a performance against a top team, right? So as long as Wrexham comes out with the same mindset they did against Coventry, don't play down. And it's not a knock at Portsmouth at all, but don't bring your performance level down. Act like we're playing Coventry again. Bring that high level of performance, and we shouldn't have any issues. Yeah,
no, I think you're right. You've just got to keep that momentum going, and that'll be a good result, especially away from home. Then you've got the Addicts, Ed. What is your score prediction for Charlton? Charlton back obviously at home. They're having a great season themselves.
Yeah, they're doing really well, and a little bit of a surprise, I think, to quite a few people with how well they were doing, because I saw there were a few people's favourites for, apart from Sheffield Wednesday, the troubles they have, they were quite a favourite for relegation. But we're at home. We've had a couple of wins. I fancy us to win again, so I'd go 2-1 Wrexham. Fingers crossed.
I think that what week that would be if you get two wins. Let's say you don't get 2 wins, would you be happy with 4 points, Ed, from the week, or you thinking it has to be 2 wins?
No, I think 4 points. You've got to be delighted, and I know recently the performances in the league have been really, really good, but I'm still anticipating. This is such a tough league. We can see out of nothing teams score. As you said before, Coventry scored more or less out of nothing when I felt we were by far the better team. So I think we're on a roller coaster for a while. So 4 points would definitely, I'd be delighted. Then we're 5 unbeaten. Yeah,
lovely. That sounds quite nice, actually. 5 unbeaten. Let's see if it comes true. Right, finishing on our final. Not our final segment. We've got the A to Z, haven't we? First, so we'll go through the A to Z, then we'll go on to the Twitter week. And that's me getting ahead of myself. Ed, we'll start with you, please, mate. So your letter E. What generation is this? Is this player from?
This is from around the year 2000. So for me, this is really recent. So. This one, though, it's a player. He's a little bit of a cult hero. He only played 20-odd games for us, but his name was Imad Bounain. And he was a French-Moroccan left-back. And the reason why he left such an impact on people that watched him was he was completely mad. So his first name was Imad, and people would joke, say, is Imad, because he would pick the ball up from left-back. If he was 6 yards from our goal, he would just then try and dribble through people. And invariably, he'd lose it, then he'd tackle them again. it was great to watch if you didn't support Wrexham and if you weren't the manager. But yeah, there's not many players who only play a few games, and particularly defenders who Wrexham fans can still remember 25 years on for him being completely crazy, very talented, but you just never knew what you got with him. Completely
definitely left his mark then. Steve, what's your letter E for Wrexham this week?
Yeah, we'll go with Elliot Lee. Big news on his knee surgery. Apparently, it's been ailing him for some time. So, what better time when you're not getting a lot of play time to, get surgery, get yourself healthy, and then ready to go. So, warm wishes to him for everything he's put in for us to get us to this point. I really hope he gets healed up here and is back at action, when he's, in a few months down the road after surgery.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of the players that epitomises the growth of the club, isn't he? He's someone that's obviously been on the journey for quite some time. But now we're on to the final segment, which is Tweet of the Week. So today's Tweet of the Week actually comes from Parky himself, the gaffer, and it was from his post-match thoughts. And he says, "We weren't here tonight just to stop Coventry. We were here to play." And that definitely played out on the pitch. And I think, Ed, that shows the mentality of the manager and the mentality of the club. That we got top of the league coming to us, but it doesn't matter. We're going to play our football.
Yeah, and it's back to making the racecourse a fortress again, which is something that has been a little bit slow this season, a little bit lacking. But Parkinson took a lot of flack for the Cardiff defeat, so absolute credit to come back top of the league. And we did play. We played some really, really nice football. The goals, they're from open play, beautiful through balls from Windass. So a fantastic attitude, fantastic job. And as we said earlier, even when it got to 3-2, still professional, still saw it through. It was best victory for a long, long, long time.
Definitely. Parky's mentality, Steve, is that something that's going to help Wrexham throughout the rest of the season?
Oh yeah, if your gaffer's not confident, then your team's not going to be confident behind you, right? So the players really bought in against, and same thing against Borough, right? That's two really solid matches against two top quality sides. So as long as they just buy in and bring that type of effort, we shouldn't have any problems, finishing off in the championship, So fingers crossed for the next couple.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys. It's what a win and what a game to talk about. And now we're looking ahead to the double game week. So yeah, thank you very much, and thank you everybody for watching at home. Please like and subscribe, and please get involved in the comments below. Let us know your predictions for the upcoming games.